Well, Be Happy is the latest collection from hot off the press, and you can see the bright colors and how fun this can be. We have a webisode to show you everything, and in just a second I'll walk you through this wonderful collection, and we also have some additional things to coordinate this entire set. And how fun is that? Okay, so please come play with us. Okay, we'll start with the basics, which is always the patterned paper. There's 12 by 12, and you're going to get 12 coordinating sheets and 56 cutouts. How good is that? And as always, hot off the press gives you ideas on the back of the package using the contents of the package, so that's always fun. The 12 sheets of solid cardstock coordinate perfectly, as you would expect. And then we also have this same art in a 6 by 6 size. Now, you're going to get 4 sheets of every single design, and you're going to get 112 cutouts. Wow. Now, in addition, we have die cuts. Die cuts are often the perfect touch. There are 31 in this package. Again, there's 2 ideas on the back of this, and I'll just tuck it right over here. Now we also have chipboard. Now the chipboard has 22 pieces, and that is a wonderful collection. Again, there's an idea on the back. You can color them with inks, ink pads, with markers, with embossing powder, all sorts of things. Our cutting die is also Be Happy, and you can see that wonderful intricate bee along with honey, along with Be Happy and Oh Honey. And this is the body of the bee to go right underneath it, and there's even a smaller bee, so that's fun. Now I said we have coordinating pieces, and look at this. There are 30 bees in this package. They are wood. You do need to attach them with adhesive. We recommend our specialist glue, or you could use Zots, or you could use extra sticky tape, any of those. We also have these colors. We've got citron, hot pink, and yellow in these dots. They're clear, but they have color, so fun with that. And we also have our honeysuckle paper towel, and you can see why we've added it because of this wonderful element. And the pinks will also coordinate nicely with the yellows in the paper collection. So that's everything that we have. So let me bring on projects, but first I want to give some time to our scrapbookers. This is the page that's on the back of the 12 by 12. We'll go out just a smidge so you can really see all of it, and you can see there are 2 photos. These are both cutouts from that paper collection, and you can see the flowers from that paper towel. Now you can layer them as Debbie has done, or you can use them individually, whichever you like. She's also used some fuchsia holographic paper for her matting. Now you can use the solid cardstock too. She just wanted a little extra punch. A little ribbon from the magenta flowers, and you've got a beautiful page, very sunny. Okay, let's go to our first card, and Teresa is using our 5 by 6.5 inch cards. And you can see what's going on this card. So let me show you the papers and the other things that she has used. Here is the sheet that she used. It looks like this, but she has used the area right over here. So you can see that that is the area that she's used. So she's just used that part. As you probably know, for every 12 by 12 sheet, you can make 4 cards. So you can make them horizontal, you can make them vertical, you can make them however you want. Here's a horizontal. And you do get all of that wonderful texture that we digitally add to the art. Now Teresa matted hers on our silver cardstock. It's our metallic, and it comes in a package and looks like, well, it looks just like that, but here's a larger piece of it just so you can see. So that just adds a bit of shine to our card, as you can tell. Now you can see how fun that is where she has done some weaving. So let me bring in the paper towel. This is foil paper towel, and you can see that it too has a shine. Isn't that great? This is exclusively made for us in England. And it is a trademarked process that they do that we think is pretty wonderful. And what you're going to get on the sheet is multiple images to create 3 finished pieces. So you can see with this beehive, there's a number 1. Well, that's going to go down first. It's going to be the first one that's going to get glued to the card base. Now, Teresa did weave some ribbon, which I think is pretty brilliant, and she used the yellow ribbon set, as you can see, and then glued that right down there. And then she built the beehive. So that's number 1. Number 2 is this piece, so it doesn't have the woven part, it's just the beehive. Number 3 is just the bee, and number 4 is the flower. So you can see how that adds dimension. Now, our foam tape isn't super thick, so it allows you to build layers like this without getting a card that's 1 inch thick. That isn't going to happen with ours. In addition, there's always extra art, and that's what Teresa has used up here, so that works nicely. Now you can also see that she has taken advantage of these bees, and with 30 in the package, you want to do that. And what I think is clever, can we get in really close, Jeanette, is that Teresa placed the bees on top of an art bee. So you can see the wings coming out. Not only are they laid on the back of it, but they're also coming out. It's a small touch, but I think it's worth noting. Now, she also used the yellow crystals, and you can see these are self-adhesive. She's placed them in the center of all of the flowers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The especially for you, well, that's one of the die cuts, and she has simply foam taped it right there. So that creates our card front. Going to the inside, okay, so what Teresa did is that on the front of her card, she used this area of the paper. On the inside, she used this area, just the opposite side, and that worked out perfectly. She did the same thing. She matted it on the silver, and this time she used some of the jute that's in the package, the yellow package, and wrapped it around that matted piece before she foam taped it inside her card. Welcome to your new home. Well, that is also one of the die cuts, and let me show that to you. Here it is. Welcome to your new hive. Sorry, not home, hive. And there it is. Now, she's also played with some dazzles, and let me show them to you. These are bees and ladybugs. So you've got bees down here and ladybugs up here. And while you can back them with paper or vellum, Teresa just elected to lay them flat. Now, she did that because those wooden pieces are pretty bumpy, so she didn't want to have them on the inside of her card, and the dazzles just really did the trick. Again, the yellow dot is placed right there, and that finishes her very first card. How fun is that? Okay, now we're going to go to our next card. And this is an S-shaped card. So let me just open that up for you. I like how Teresa always really finishes the inside of her cards. They just look really nice. Now, to create that card base, you're going to take our regular 5 by 6.5 inch card. You're going to make a dot in the center. So this is 5 inches, so it's 2.5 inches. And then you're going to score that and then fold it back. So that's going to make our S card, okay? Now, what Teresa did with that is then she's going to cover it. Of course she is. So let me show you what she used. I'm going to bring in the papers. And for this side of the front, this paper, she used this side of it, the left side of it, not the beehive side, but this side. And you can see it's goes from light to dark, so it's gradated that way, and it has some artwork down at the bottom. So that becomes that flap. And you'll notice that she cut it smaller than the card itself, so you can elect to do that or not. The measurements are in the directions, which are just down below. Now I'm going to go from there to the inside of the card because Teresa used the rest of that sheet on the inside. So you can see here's the one for the back, and then she used the accompanying piece right next to it for right here. So all three of those are nicely taken care of in that way. Okay, now I'm going back. Okay, now for this, Teresa there are always cutouts, but there are some larger cutouts, and we designed these to fit perfectly on our cards. So you can see that she took this one and she matted it on white, which you're going to get white in the solid cardstock. Let me just bring it in. And I just recently had a customer ask, why are we putting white? Because you can have white separately. And a lot of people do, but we do it in here because we want this to be complete. We don't want to say that, okay, now you've got to go out and buy another package. So that's why we include them, just to make everything together, to try to make life as easy as possible. You know, we do what we can. So here we have this piece, and that's going to get matted on the white. And of course, this is going to be attached just to the left area of it to the flap on the front of our card. So that's going to work nicely. Now, the Thinking of You, that is one of the cutouts. Remember I said there are like 56, I think I said? Yes, 56. So this is one. So Thinking of You is right here. And that's going to get foam taped on top. Now, Teresa elected to do some flowers, three-dimensional flowers. And I thought that was really interesting because there certainly are flowers on there in the artwork, but she elected to take the tiny flowers and leaves. This is the number 2. The number 1 has been retired, so this is the one now. And what's great about this, besides the art, is that with one pass, you're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4 flowers, and you're going to make multiples of them. So you don't have to laboriously run this through your die cutting machine 500 times in order to get this many flowers. And I love what Teresa did. So she has used, for her flowers, she's used the kind of light orange and yellow, and look how that comes. Here's the yellow, there's the orange. So you can just die cut this and you can mix those. The green is on that paper collection too, of course. So she has layered them, and you can see there's there's larger and smaller ones together. That's fun. She also used the citron adhesive dots in the center of all of those flowers, and that's nice. And she also added another bumblebee, and it's these are the bumblebee sprinklets. So they are out of Fimo and they are flat. So we'll get in a little closer, Jeanette, if you can do that. Okay, so there's one, there, and so she's added them. So that's nice. For greeting, and I'm glad you're up close because we can see that, that is white with this kind of mint green on top. And that comes from our script greeting dazzles in pastels. And they do come in the mint, the white. There is a kind of salmon color as well as a pink color. So all of those pastels. And I really hadn't seen anyone do this before, so I was really pleased with her overlapping them. I thought that was nice. So that finishes our card front. For the inside, yep, going to use the same thing. So there's our happy birthday, double layered. We've got more of the flowers and more of those sprinklets, bumblebees, also in the mix. So that worked out quite nicely, very pretty, and a fun card. Okay. Here is a different card. In fact, the next 2 cards are a little unique, and that's fun. So this one is using our cutting die. How gorgeous is that? And let me show you how this works. So this flap is going to open, and then this one has some acetate in it, and then it opens like that. So we've got a tri-fold sort of card. Okay, neato. Now, let me show you how you do that. We will start with our regular card, and we want the fold to be on the right. So I put a Post-it, fold on the right, okay? Now we're going to measure down 2 5/8 inches from the top and 2 5/8 inches from the bottom. Then we're going to cut out this strip, okay? Now that strip is going to become this flap. So when you cut that strip out, and let me see if I can do this quickly, you just want to whack it out. Well, you want to be a little more careful than whacking. Okay, just to the fold. And we'll do that on both sides. Then we're going to trim this down a bit. And this is going to be that piece in the center. And here we go. Okay. Now, before you decorate, you want to take care of this piece because we want to attach it. Okay, so let me leave that there. So this piece, we're going to trim it down to 1 1/8 inches tall. So I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to just snip this down because I want to show you how it is positioned. Okay. Then we want to score 1/2 inch. So I'm going to just fold it for the time being. Now I'm going to open up the card and I want to attach this with extra sticky tape right here. And I want it to lay in the center of that piece that we cut. So see, it's going to be shorter, which is what we want, and it's going to be attached, okay? So when we then go to put paper, we'll put paper here and here. We'll do a different paper here, but when we do the inside of our card, that paper will cover up this tab that's just sitting there. So that works very nicely, which is why you want to get this attached pretty early in the game, okay? So that is how you create this style of card. And let me set that aside and open this up. So what Teresa used out of the Be Happy is this. So she went into the 6x6, which I thought was really interesting. And I'm just going to set that aside right now because I want to show you this. So here is the sheet that she's going to use, but before she puts that on, she is going to cut a piece of acetate. Whoops. She's going to cut a piece of acetate that is 5 inches wide by 2.5 inches. And we're going to attach this on top of the card. Okay? It's going to go on top. That way, when you put the paper on, it's really going to secure it. So use your extra sticky tape to attach this on top of the card. And then we're going to do the paper. Now you'll notice that that paper looks brighter, doesn't it? So what Teresa did is she used the Prism ink pad. This is the royal blue. So after she glued her paper to the top and to the bottom, so you can see it's going to go right there, and then you've still got enough to do the top of the card out of one sheet. Then she inked the edges with the blending tool and the royal blue ink pad. So that just gives us some oomph, technical term there. And I think just does a really nice job. Now, for this flap, she also used another sheet, and here is the sheet that she used. Now again, this is a little brighter. Well, that's because she glued this piece to the flap and inked the edges. Same thing with the royal blue. So that worked out very, very nicely. Now, so those two pieces are set. We're going to go back to the front, and this is one of the papers. Let me show it to you. We kind of saw this a minute ago with one of the larger cards. Remember this? This was used and that was used. Well, this time she's used it here, and she has matted it on the green. And that green, we use the darker green on those flowers. Well, the lighter green is used on this side, okay? And then the Be Happy is part of the die cuts. And here it is right here. And I thought it was interesting because this is very green and yellow, but she chose the one with the brown, and I thought it was a really good mix, especially with that big bee going on there. So that was fun. So this one is going to be foam taped on top, and then our cutting die, which is over here on my desk. Oh goodness, come on, cutting die, where are you? Okay, well the cutting die is somewhere on this table. I'm just going to note for you that she die cut it out of the yellow, and then there is black in the collection. In fact, it is on the back side of the yellow. So die cut out the bee, die cut out that body, and you can just glue it to the back of the body. And the vellum is also glued to the back of the wings. So you want to let the wings flutter, just kind of like a butterfly. And that has been glued here and foam taped right there. So that looks really, really nice. Here's the cutting die. There you can see, we wanted really a bee that would be a nice statement, and love that flourish on the wings. Okay, the other thing that I did not mention is those beautiful lines of color. Now they are from the Thin Line Colorful Dazzles, and they are a sparkly, as you can tell as I flash it. So you've got 2 layers, top and bottom, and one on the center on each side of the acetate. Now notice that this is larger than the one underneath. The one underneath is part of the cutouts, as you can see. Even busy bees stop and smell the roses, so very cute. So that is been glued, spanning that acetate. Then going to the inside of the card, where we also have, remember you use this part on the flap right there? Well, we're using this sheet again and trimming it down to fit right on the inside. So it's going right there and right there. And again, inking it. And then we have these 2 cutouts, and this is a cutout also. So you can see they're overlapping. And they are allowing that center area to be plain, or just to have the pattern behind it, so that that even busy bees stop and smell the roses on top of the Be Happy. So really fun. You know, when I first saw this, I thought it had a belly band, but no, it's just this very fun opening. So I think this is a good technique to remember. Speaking of techniques to remember, I have another card, and let me show you. This is so neat. I have not seen it before. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. We're going to open this, and voila, just like that. How neato. This is from one card. Look at that, very fun. Okay, so what Teresa has done, and let me show you what she has provided for us. You know Teresa, she's going to give us patterns. And the base of the card is our regular card base. So this is 6.5 by 10. That's what the card is when it lays out flat. It's already scored for us, but Teresa, on her pattern that will be a download down below with the instructions, she's indicated that with the broken lines. Those are always score lines. So that's actually the center of our card. So then what you do is you score 2 more lines. So one going here and another one going right there. And when that is accomplished and you fold them, so this is a valley fold, but it's only a valley fold to that point, then it becomes a mountain fold. Okay, don't worry about it, that'll work. And then this becomes a valley fold. It always feels a little tricky when you're doing it in part of a card, but that will work. And of course, as always, the score line helps that happen. And then you simply squish it just like that. And you want to get your bone folder, which is on my table, and secure those down. So very fun. Now, you've got some irregular shapes, and Teresa knew that. So she has given us another download just to give you the paper patterns, so it's not a problem. So there's one to go here, there's one to go there, and one to go right here. So we will take care of that. And there may be another pattern, so I will double check for the inside areas, so those triangles. So let's get back to the card, okay? And so this is what Teresa has for us. She does recommend using the scoreboard. Now, if you have something like this, that's perfectly fine. But to make those score lines, just to make it really easy, you can just lay this and go right over them. And that works well too. So just wanted to bring that point to you. Okay, so now what has she used? Well, you can see that she has used the chipboard. And let me just show you. Let's get in closer to see these pieces because they are quite wonderful. So you can see that tall flower. Now that has been done with tri-blend markers, and she has used these colors. There is a coral blend, and that's what she's used on this flower. She's also used a dull green. In fact, she's using that quite a bit lately on the stem. She's used the gold brown on the cattails. A little bit darker there, lighter on the stems. And of course, you get 3 colors in every one of these markers, so that plays well. She used a blue. In fact, this is a ice blue, and you can see that on those flowers, the individual flowers. And then she also used a citrus, that is the yellow on those flowers. So very, very nice. So she just colored them onto the chipboard, nothing magic about it, just using those colors. In the center of the flowers, she used the gold pearl dazzles, jewel dazzles. So that's going to give you that shine that is a pearl look. Okay, so let's go back into our card and let me show you what she has used for the various areas. So this sheet has the beehives. In fact, there's a couple beehives. And she's used this side just for that piece right there. Okay. Now, the hello is a cutout from the sheet right there. And she has simply glued the left side of it to that flap. Now that bee, in fact, you saw this earlier in a card, that is our ladybug, our bee and ladybug dazzles. So you can see that she has just left that one, and it's just flat onto the sheet. The chipboard is glued on top. Okay, now I'm going to open this, and I'm going to go to this area, which is also going to have part of the back side of the sheet. So here's this sheet. The back side is usually a ghosted back image, and that's true. You can see the honeycomb all in part of it, so that doesn't have anything on it. Now, for this area, she has used this sheet. Now, this has these kind of stripes in the middle, but she has turned them on their side, and she has used, let's see, that little bee is right here. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So we've got this bee and the stripes going horizontally. So there's a piece here and a piece here. So our cattails are extending up beyond that fold, which I really like that. And I think that we tend to think things have to be within the confines of our cards or our pages. It's true of pages, but it's a little more fun on cards. So there's another Bedazzle. Then this area is a different sheet, and let me show it to you. It has the dripping honey right there, and also the beehive. So she has used this piece, and again, you have the download for the shape of it. The thank you for being, that is a die cut, and it is right here. Thank you for being you. And she's wrapped some of the yellow ribbon set, more of the chipboard, more of the bee and the chipboard. I love this little, I think that's just such a sweet, sweet bouquet. Okay, and that takes care of this card. So what do you think about Be Happy? I think it's going to brighten your summer. And we have the whole collection with the 12 by 12 pattern, with the, we'll have to back up a bit to get this, won't we? With the solid, as well as the 6 by 6, as well as the chipboard, as well as the die cuts and the cutting die, plus our 30 bees and our yellow, citron, and hot pink crystals. And then also our honeysuckle, which really should be called Be Happy because it works so well, our foiled paper towel. So all of this is the money saver. It's over on the right side of your screen. As I've mentioned, Teresa's instructions are down below. Just click on the card and you'll see the instructions. The download will be on that last card, and you can use that to complete that card. And I hope you are enjoying this. It's bright and it's happy, and we can all use that, don't you think? If you are watching us on YouTube, we hope that you will like us. We hope that you will comment, and we hope that you will subscribe. When you do, please head on over to paperwishes.com. You can see that money saver on the right side of your screen. You can see all the instructions down below, and everything is there for you. Speaking of everything being there for you, did you like that segue? We do have a subscription. Now the subscription has, the first one is I Want It All. So what you want is all the papers. So we're going to take all of these other non-paper elements and scoot them away. But you're going to get all of the papers and the chipboard, in this case the paper towel also, and you're going to get it at a 20% discount if you subscribe. Now it's only if you subscribe. Every month you'll receive these before we do the webisode, and as you know, because Hot Off the Press has ideas on the back, you have ideas to spark your creativity from day one. Now, should you want other things, should you want the cutting die, that will be added in the I Really Want It All subscription. Same thing, 20% off. Same thing, you're going to get it before the webisode, and everything will be yours. And if you would like these, it too is on the right side of your screen, or they too are on the right side of your screen. I want to thank you for joining us so much. Of course, this wouldn't be possible without you. I want to thank Teresa for doing such a marvelous job with those cards and some very fun new techniques. And I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We're going to see you next time. Bye-bye.